All right, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Marion Common Council regular council meeting. Today is October 1st, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers at Marion City Hall. And we're going to begin by inviting Reverend Benny Powell from the Greater Second Baptist Church to come to the microphone and open with prayer. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Just press the red button.
Let us bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, first of all, we say thank you, Lord. We thank you for this time that we're here. Lord, we ask that you open our minds and open our hearts to be receptive to what's going to be said today, Lord. Lord, let us come with understanding and with determination to do the right thing, dear Heavenly Father. Lord, we ask for guidance in all that will be said here today. Lord, touch these leaders as they go forth to do your will, Lord. Endow them with knowledge from on high, Lord, and let them know that you're God and God all by yourself, and like you there is no other. Lord, and when this is all over said and done, Lord, we can go in peace and with an understanding. All these things we ask in Jesus' name. Let all God's people say amen.
Thank you so much, Reverend. And pledge of allegiance by Vice President Brian Castro.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, then we're going to go ahead into roll call. Madam Clerk.
Kane.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Fordyce.
Here.
Brunner.
Present.
Klein. Devine.
Present.
Witten.
Yes.
Cowgill.
Here.
McKinley.
Here. Okay, we're going to move into tonight's community spotlight. It's the Grant County Sheriff's Girls Camp. It was going to be Corporal Erica Treon that was going to make it, but instead she has somebody else here tonight to talk about that. And if you could just introduce yourself, and then feel free, I don't know, Councilwoman Devine, do you want to say anything? And then her?
That's fine.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the screen.
This year, the Sheriff's Department probably hosted its inaugural year of the Girls Camp, and the camp was aimed to empower young girls by providing insights into law enforcement while fostering personal growth and resilience and overcoming certain barriers. I found out about this, and my daughter was actually one of the lucky participants this year, and so it's something near and dear to my heart, and I was excited to have the Grant County come and share about the camp and what they were able to do with the girls this year and plans going forward.
So my name is Venna Lindbaugh, and I was one of the organizers at the camp. Erica actually came to me and asked if I would help her. And at first, I thought it was a crazy idea. We've never done anything like that with the Sheriff's Department. But as she explained what she wanted to do and kind of like the direction she wanted to go with girls especially, I felt like it was something that we needed to do. We chose an age range of preteen girls, 10 to 14. And originally we weren't sure how many people we were going to be able to take. We opened the application process up, made it public on Facebook, asked for applications. Within the first day, we had over 100 applicants. We were only able to take 20. We spent 4 days showing them kind of what we do, like in law enforcement, as women in law enforcement. I feel like we play a vital role. We can offer a different insight to some of the different roles and things that we go through. We did a lot of things with them, like we gave them firearm safety. Every girl got CPR certified. They all learned CPR and first aid. There you go. Couldn't think. We also taught them some important life skills, like they all know how to change a tire now. They can all jump start a car. Not that a 10-year-old necessarily need to do that, but they know how. We focused a lot on teaching them just how to empower one another. The response that we had with these girls, like their reaction to the things that we did, I think you tend to see a lot with like younger girls. They tend to gang up with one another and maybe like bully each other in a way. we never had any of that. By the end of the week, we were watching them like just root each other on. We did an obstacle course at the end where we kind of put everything that we had taught them throughout the week together. And so they would go through one by one or like against another person. And instead of like racing each other and just trying to, goad one another, they were standing on the sides cheering for each other. And it was just a remarkable journey with these children. We were really proud that we got to have this experience with them. We're hoping to continue to maybe expand next year. We're hoping for more, spots, more sponsors. We had a lot of people from the community that they were really like willing to help us and to kind of come forward and step up. A lot of sponsors. The sheriff, obviously, he was a little skeptical at first, having come from Marion Police Department and doing the youth academy. He questioned our reason why we wanted to do just girls. He thought maybe we were being a little unfair, but in the end, it turned out great. So that's all I have. Sorry.
No, that was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Where are you at?
Okay.
Real quick, what was your name again? I just
Benna.
want to correct the record.
Venna Linvall.
Can you spell that?
VENNALINDVALL.
Okay. And now, are you with the sheriff's department then?
Yes, I've been with the sheriff's department for almost 12
And
years.
where in the sheriff's department do you work? Like what division?
Detention.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we have for the minutes in the record.
No, that's fine.
So, also, we always get a photo with whoever is here for the community spotlight.
Okay.
If you don't mind coming up here, we're going to get a picture with the full council. Highlight it on social media. And our official photo taker, Mr. Marty Harper. Great job. We'll just come right in the middle. Here's always in the front. Good, my type almost there. It was a mess. Definitely not the camera.
There you go. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do too.
Thank you.
Okay, next one you'll get it.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming tonight. You are free to leave. Of course, you're always welcome to hang out at council meetings. And then we're going to move into tonight's city employee spotlight, and I'm super excited for this one. It was recommended, she was recommended, and I was more than happy to accept. And so tonight's city spotlight is our very own first deputy clerk, Aisha Richard. And I want to share a few words that, come on up here, Aisha. Come on way up. So I'll give you a few words. So our city clerk, Debbie Goodman, had recommended her and reached out to me. And she said, Aisha has worked for the city of Marion for many years, but I started working closely with her when she worked in the city's legal department as the assistant to the then city attorney, Tom Hunt. Her hard work and attention to detail is what made me decide to ask her to be my first deputy when I was elected clerk. She's always willing to do whatever I ask of her and has been a great asset to my office these past 9 months. Don't know what I'd do without her. And I definitely can concur with that. Since getting elected on the city council and being the city council president, we have to work together all the time, almost every single day. And she's always so easy to work with. And she puts up with all my midnight emails and all my requests. And, we've kind of both, I guess, learned our positions together this year, being new in our roles. And seriously, she is a big part of what runs the city council. I mean, our city council, we're all part-time, and we rely on the clerk's office to really put this agenda together and take in information, take phone calls, collect our mail, And they all do a great job. But Aisha, especially, I just can't thank her enough. So I really appreciate her, appreciate you very much. The rest of the council appreciates you as well. She's a big part of the daily operations, also for city court. So the clerk's office doesn't just handle the council, but anything city court related, the clerk's office handles. And I know Aisha plays a huge part of that, does a fantastic job, and really takes pride in her work. So thank you so much, Aisha. Did you want to say anything?
I just want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to bring my knowledge to the clerk's office and thank my family for their support because this has been a journey.
There we go. All right.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much. And of course, normally I say to whoever was spotlighted, they're free to leave, but Aisha, you're not free to leave tonight. So the only time you're going to say that right now. So, all right. I always love doing those spotlights. And we're going to go ahead and move into our consent agenda for the approval of minutes, consideration of pre-approved claims, and consideration of claims. If anyone has anything in particular, go ahead and have a discussion about it now. If not, then I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Vice President Cowgill to approve the consent agenda, a second by Councilman Kane. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Aye.
Witten.
Aye.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. It has passed, and then we're gonna move into committee reports. So we have the committee reports today. Oh, yes, Councilman Whitten.
Yeah, we had a code enforcement committee meeting on Tuesday, the 24th of September at 5 o'clock. Everybody from the code enforcement committee was present, and we reviewed the parking and abandoned vehicle code with Jerry Faustine. He is having the code updated to include commercial businesses. And before we bring that to the full council, it's going to go back through legal and make sure there are no conflicts or issues between that and zoning. So it may be a minute before we bring it in front of the council.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Any other committee reports?
No,
Nothing today, Councilman?
no, both of mine were canceled this last week.
Okay. With no other committee reports, we're gonna go ahead and move into unfinished business, beginning with additional appropriation 36-2024, the 2025 budget, third reading.
Mayor Morrell is set to present the 2025 City of Marion budget to the City Council, outlining projected expenses for the upcoming year. This budget reflects the administration's vision for Marion in 2025, providing a roadmap for the city's strategic improvements and essential developments. Speaking, Mayor Ron Morrell Jr.
Well, thank you. We made it to the third reading, and I'm so excited to be here to wrap this up. Appreciate all of our team for working so hard on this. Appreciate each and every one of you for submitting questions and your email in person, and all of our department heads and team. And Baker Tilly worked very hard on this, and we've come to what I believe is a very solid budget. So this is the first time I've ever done a third reading on anything. So I think any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Mayor. Any council members, any questions, any follow-up? All right, if not,
President, I move that we pass appropriation ordinance number 36, 2024.
Second. I have a motion by Councilman Kane, a second by Vice President Cowgill. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Aye.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, congrats, Mayor, on your first official budget. I will think that, I thought the process was very, very smooth, and I appreciate the mayor being very open, having discussions, answering lots and lots of questions and emails, and, so kudos to the mayor, first budget, from here on out, it's gonna be even easier, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
All right, moving on to general ordinance 14-2024, fire salary ordinance, second reading, public hearing.
An ordinance fixing the maximum salaries for firefighters of the city of Marion, Indiana for the year 2025. Mayor Morrell will present the salary ordinance for the firefighters' 2025 fiscal year. This ordinance is a critical component of the overall budget, enabling the controller's office to execute the payment of wages approved within the budget. Speaking, Mayor Ronald Morrell, Jr.
So the next, four ordinances are, ancillary documents to the budget to be able to allow us to be able to pay all the employees. These are all in the second reading, and I think I spoke to all of you, but I had a request to be able to, first time requesting this request to be able to, consider passing these on, suspend the rules and passing these on the second reading so we can wrap up the entire budget.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Before I go to the public hearing, do any council members have questions for the mayor? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and open to public hearing. So if you have any statements, make your way to the microphone. I'm not seeing anybody move, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume nobody wants to speak on this. And we'll close the public hearing. And at this point, now I will say, I know I spoke with Councilman Fordyce earlier about, I did not get, Councilman Fordyce, just, I did not get a response back yet from the DLGF. I just wanted to make sure with legal that we are okay, this is okay to suspend the rules and pass on a second reading for salaries. Okay. Just wanted to see some nods from both attorneys. Okay, got it. Okay, so then, yeah, I would entertain a motion if no one has any other questions for the mayor.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend the rules on general ordinance number 14, 2024.
Second. I have a motion to suspend the rules by Councilman Kane. I heard a second by Councilman Brunner. Any other discussion?
I'd like to ask a real quick question, Mayor. What's the latest on the downtown fire station and time date on that?
So we've had a meeting on that today. We are getting our documents finalized to prepare for design phase. So hopefully we'll have something visual to everyone before the year is out, and that'll allow us to be start to plan and know what we're spending, how much it costs, etc. So I would say give us the next 3 months or so to get all those things nailed down.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call. This is for suspending the rules.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordyce,
No.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Rules have been suspended, and I would entertain another motion.
Mr. President, I move that we pass general ordinance number 14, 2024.
Second. Motion by Councilman Kane, second by Councilman Brunner. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. General Ordinance 14-2024 has passed. And moving into General Ordinance 15-2024, Police Salary Ordinance, second reading and public hearing.
An ordinance fixing the maximum salaries for police officers of the city of Marion, Indiana for the year 2025. Mayor Morrell will present the salary ordinance for the police officers' 2025 fiscal year. This ordinance is a critical component of the overall budget, enabling the Controller's Office to execute the payment of wages approved within the budget. Speaking, Mayor Ronald Morrell Jr.
Similar to the first one, I will ask for the same consideration. This allows us to pay our police officers for the coming year.
Thank you, Mayor. Any council members, questions? I would entertain a motion. I would entertain a motion after the second reading public hearing. So we will go ahead and open the microphone up if anyone would like to say anything for or against this ordinance.
Charles Moon, 703 Swayze Street. I don't believe that people really have an honest view of police. What would we do without the police department? Somebody could come in and clean out your bank account, your 401k, and you wouldn't have anyone to defend you and help you to get that back. Somebody could come along and break all the windows in your automobile, and you wouldn't have anybody to call in order to take care of that and have them taken care of. You'd have to do it all yourself. Anything that we do in life, I mean, even our traffic control, it would be like Walmart on Interstate 69. And you know what that would be like. Police have a high rate of injury and death. I had a friend when I was going to church in Shelbyville. His name was Gary Henderson. Gary was just a boy when I was there, and he grew up. He went in the police department, spent 29 and a half years, had every job in the police department except for chief. He was out one day and he decided he was going to go home and tell his wife he loved him, and the kids was there and he wanted to give him a hug, and he did that. And before he had his time up, he got a notice that they were chasing an individual and they're trying to apprehend him. So Gary took off and went out, and by chance he was able to pull him over and apprehend him. And while he was taking care of that individual, a semi came by, and a tandem wheel on the back of a trailer, which had not been greased in literally years, maybe even decades, disintegrated the bearings. The wheels came off, came along and hit Gary in the back. He never knew what hit him. There were no more I love yous. There was no more going to ball games. There was no more doing anything with the children. All the Christmas presents were going from Dad and to Dad. I was holding my sign one time when they had coffees for cops down here on 18 in front of the restaurant. And a police officer came along and said, you know, we're going to have to get you a bulletproof vest. And I said, Shane, Sean, we don't have to worry about that. I said, I don't think anything's going to happen to me. If it does, that's where the old ball bounces. I'm going to die sometime anyhow. And I said, Sean, would you?
Thank you, sir. I'm so sorry. 3 minutes is up.
3 minutes are up?
Yeah.
That was the fastest 3 minutes I found. Would you let me just make this statement?
I'll give you 15 more seconds. How about that?
All right. I said, would you take a bullet for me? And he said, yes, and I'll take one for you. And if I'd ask every single one of these police officers if they would take a bullet for each one of you, they would say yes. I would like for you to take a bullet for them, not a lead bullet, but political bullet.
All right.
And support them as much as you can and pay. We had 2 officers leave because they got $30,000 a year
The time is up.
raise from somebody else.
We appreciate
Think
it.
of that.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your support for our police, and I concur with your statements, and happy to support the police any way we can. Anybody else for public hearing? Not seeing anyone else make their way to the mic, we're gonna go ahead and close the public hearing. And if there's no other questions for the mayor, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I would like to suspend the rules on General Order 15/2024.
Second. I have a motion by Vice President Cowgill to suspend the rules, second by Councilman Kane. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
No.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Rules have been suspended. I entertain another motion.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pass General Order 15/2024.
Second. Motion by Vice President Cowgill to pass the general ordinance, second by Councilman Kane. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. I would probably venture to say this might have been the largest raise for the police department in recent modern history, or maybe ever at one time. So I'm happy to be part of that decision. And we're going to move into General Ordinance 16-2024, appointed officials and employees salary ordinance, second reading and public hearing.
An ordinance fixing the maximum salary of appointed officers and employees, an annual payment of flex dollars, $250, to non-contractual full-time employees of the city of Marion, Indiana, for the year of 2025. Mayor Morrell will present the salary ordinance for the 2025 fiscal year. This ordinance is a critical component of the overall budget, enabling the Comptroller's Office to execute the payment of wages approved within the budget. Speaking, Mayor Ronald Morrell Jr.
Similar to the other two, this is allowing us to be able to pay our employees and non-contractual full-time employees, and I'll ask for the same consideration.
Thank you, Mayor. Any council members with questions before we go to public hearing? All right, we're going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. Would like to speak, make your way to the microphone. I do not see anyone moving towards the microphone, so we will close the public hearing. Any other council members with questions, go ahead. If not, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend the rules on General Ordinance number 16, 2024.
Second. Motion to suspend the rules by Councilman Kane, a second by Councilman Brunner. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
No.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes.
Mr. President, I move that we pass General Ordinance number 16, 2024.
Second.
Motion to pass General Ordinance 16-2024 by Councilman Kane, second by Councilman Brunner. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. General Ordinance 16-2024 has passed. Moving on to General Ordinance 17-2024, the elected officials salary ordinance, second reading and public hearing.
An ordinance fixing maximum salaries of elected officials of the city of Marion, Indiana for the year 2025. Mayor Morrell will present the salary ordinance for the elected officials 2025 fiscal year. This ordinance is a critical component of the overall budget, enabling the Controller's Office to execute the payment of wages approved within the budget. Speaking, Mayor Ronald Morrell, Jr.
Similar to the first three, this allows us to pay all the elected officials. I would ask for the same consideration as the first three.
Thank you, Mayor. Any council members with questions before we go to public hearing? All right, we're going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. Who would like to speak, please make your way to the microphone now. I'm not seeing anybody move. We'll wait a moment. Okay, not seeing anyone advance towards the microphone. We're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. And if any council members have further questions, go ahead. If not, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion, we suspend the rules on General Ordinance 17/2024.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules by Vice President Cowgill, second by Councilman Kane. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
No.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, rules have been suspended, and I would entertain another motion.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we pass General Ordinance 17/2024.
Second.
Motion to pass General Ordinance 17-2024 by Vice President Cowgill, second by Councilman Kane. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice.
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. General Ordinance 17-2024 has passed. Moving into new business, General Ordinance 18-2024, River Rock Lofts Bond Series A and B, first reading.
An ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Marion, Indiana, authorizing the issuance of the City of Marion, Indiana taxable economic development revenue bonds, Series A, River Rock Lofts Project, the issuance of the City of Marion, Indiana taxable economic development revenue bond, Series 2024E, River Rock Lofts Project, and authorizing and approving other actions in respect thereto. Mayor Morrell is set to present the bond documents for the River Rock Lofts, marking the final step in securing the necessary financial backing to ensure the project's completion.
Speaking,
Attorney Bryce was going to speak on my behalf, but he knows more about this. And
welcome, Chris. Thank you. Appreciate it. We just wanted it for the record. And
Thank you.
for our audience at home. Okay.
We're gonna get that in there.
Thank you.
Thank you, President McKinley, members of the council. It's good to be back in front of you. For the record, Chris Greisel, attorney from Barnes and Thornburg, and attorney for the Marion Redevelopment Commission. So, as you all recall, on August 6th, this body approved a project agreement with Rebar Development for the River Rocks development, which is an approximately $10.8 million mixed-use development here. And as you may recall, during our last meeting, you all took the step to approve the allocation area for the River Rocks area, which was a separate allocation area to support the project as part of the incentive in the project agreement. And that process will conclude on Friday at the Redevelopment Commission, where they'll hold a confirmatory resolution and public hearing on that process. So thank you for your support on that. So now, as the description read, this is really the final piece of the puzzle. We're before you tonight to start the bond approval process. As you may recall, the project agreement provides in part that the city's obligated to issue one or more series of economic development revenue bonds, and a maximum par amount that the parties jointly determine guarantees that 100% of all tax increment revenue generated in that allocation area is utilized to pay debt service on the bonds. So before you tonight, we have first reading on the bond ordinance, and I distributed several ancillary financing agreements that kind of coincide with this ordinance. So I'll kind of briefly outline those for your attention. First, let's start with the bond ordinance and a review of the bonds. The parties have agreed that we're going to issue two series of bonds, which we're referring to as the 2024A and the 2024B bonds. The 2024A bonds are being issued in a maximum principal amount not to exceed $1,650,000. Those bonds are payable solely from payments by the developer, which is memorialized by a note in the loan agreement. And these developer payments may be offset by tax increment revenues generated in the allocation area, and also payments made by the developer pursuant to a minimum taxpayer agreement. You may recall that the developer committed to making a minimum taxpayer agreement of approximately $124,000 on the site. The 2024B bonds, Series B bonds, are going to be issued in a maximum principal amount not to exceed $2,850,000. They're payable solely from payments by the developer as well, again memorialized by a note and a separate loan agreement. And these developer payments may be offset by both tax increment revenues generated within the Marion Consolidated Economic Development Area. Under no circumstances, again, as a reminder, will payment of debt service on either the Series A or Series B bonds be required from any other sources of city funds, both developer purchase. And it's not an event of default on the city's part if debt service on the bond isn't repaid. So with respect to some of the ancillary financing agreements that go as part of this bond packet, each series of bonds has a trust indenture establishing and directing the management of funds and accounts of the bonds. And then each series of bonds has a loan agreement, which I've mentioned before, which provides the terms under which the developer has agreed to make payments to offset any shortfalls. So tonight we're conducting first reading on Friday. The Marion Economic Development Commission is meeting to consider a project report and conduct a public hearing on both series of the bonds. Also on Friday, as I mentioned, the Marion Redevelopment Commission will confirm the creation of the allocation area, and then they will make a pledge resolution for both series of the bonds to confirm the pledge of the TIF that I just referenced for you all. So after all those actions are complete, we'll come back to this body later this month and conduct a final reading on the bond approval process, which keeps us on track for a November closing, which we've all been targeting. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Andy Mauser with Baker Tilly is here as well, and between the two of us, we're happy to answer any questions that you may have on this.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, Andy, for coming tonight. Any council members with questions? Is there anything, Mayor, you want to add to that? Okay. Vice President Cowler.
What was it you said after Chris?
Love it.
Thanks.
Love it. Well, thanks for your support. And if you have any questions between now and final reading, we'll be happy to answer those for you as well. So we look forward to being back.
Okay. All right, without any further questions, then I would entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we pass General Ordinance number 18, 2024 to a second reading and public hearing.
Second. Motion by Councilman King to pass General Ordinance 18-2024, second by Vice President Calgill. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. General Ordinance 18-2024. We'll move on to second reading, public hearing at the next council meeting. And moving into General Ordinance 19-2024, petition to vacate a portion of a public way, first reading.
An ordinance petitioning the Marion Common Council in accordance with the provision of IC 367312 to vacate a portion of a public way in the city of Marion, Indiana. Indiana Wesleyan University would like to vacate a portion of a public way of South John Street from 41st Street to the south side of 3906 South John Street, and the vacation from 41st Street from Felton Street to Nebraska. Speaking Attorney Phil Stevenson.
Thank you very much. Phil, appreciate you coming. Before you say anything, I just wanted to let the whole council know that Phil and I did talk earlier today. And he's gonna go ahead and present on this, but when he's done, we can ask questions. But we're gonna request to table this so they can go to the traffic commission first and then come back to the council. But Phil, wanted to be able to present information because he won't be able to be at the next council meeting. So welcome, Phil. I just wanted to let the rest of the council know where we're going.
Thank you, and I appreciate your willingness to let me present this tonight. What I gave each of you ahead of time, another pamphlet, which has some nice pictures and drawings, which I thought you might like to see, as well as a little bit better information. Essentially, what this involves is that Indiana Wesleyan University is wanting to close portions of John Street, and if you look in the back of the pamphlet I gave you, it shows you what those are, but essentially, it's, I can find it myself.
I got it on the big screen.
Oh, you do? Very nice, thank you. It's essentially closing John Street from 3906 South John Street all the way down to 41st Street. Then 41st Street from Nebraska Street over to Felton Street. Now, everything within that area is already owned by Indiana Wesleyan University. The only property in any of this which is not owned is at the 3906 South John. And one of the things I gave you tonight in that pamphlet is a consent signed by Nancy Rosen. Thank you, sir. Who owns that property. And she's consented. She's the only one involved. All of the rest of the properties are owned completely by Indiana Wesleyan University. Now, the purpose of this closing is also within this pamphlet, and that is essentially to build a new basketball arena, as well as some ancillary athletic areas. And it would essentially be a new arena which would seat 1,700, but with that in the area at the top would actually be able to hold easily 2,000 for their basketball games. And I know all of you, especially Mr. Brunner, are aware, how well this basketball team for Indiana Wesleyan has done in the last few years. So I think this is going to be just a substantial addition, not only to the campus, but also to the city. And as the explanation also talks about, they're looking at this to be not just for the university, but can be community in terms of camps that may be operated during the summer, and a lot of other functional uses that the arena can be made of. So we hope it's going to be just a really great addition to the city. We've already made contact with Mr. Pinkerton because we think there probably are some water lines there which will have to be relocated, which the university will obviously take care of. But they're going to meet with Mr. Pinkerton and work those out before the next meeting. So we'll be able to find out about that too. So this is really, we think, going to be just a really great addition to both that campus as well as to the community. And again, it's not going to deny anyone there any access because it doesn't really involve anyone else in this area who will be cut off from any type of effect. The only one who's probably affected is Ms. Rosen, who has to go just one direction to get out. But fortunately, she's fine with that also. She's been through the years a really great supporter of Indiana Wesleyan University. So are there any questions that I can answer tonight about this project, which might be helpful to you to think about between now and the next meeting?
Yeah, what is the current seating hold now?
Well, the current, as I understand it, will actually seat 1,700 also, but one, it's a little more cramped than this is. The arena will be better. And secondly, all because of the space at the top, you can then actually get in there another 300 people easily. So it'll be up to 2,000.
Appreciate that. And just for reference for everyone, IW owns all all of these houses and all of these houses. And then the arena will go right in here. This building will stay, then the arena is gonna fit right in here. Of course, they'll have to tear down some houses, they're looking to vacate this street, so they can build the arena across the road.
Where was Mrs. Rose again?
She's all the way up here, 3906.
So my question would be, is he still gonna have, Rita at the Oracle, right?
She will. The only thing is, she will have to get out, she's gotta go only north, she won't be able to go south as she could right now. That's the only difference, which is why we wanted to present this to her so that she would understand it, giving her an opportunity to object if she wanted to, and she was fine. So that's why she signed the consent in advance to let you know that that's not a problem with her.
And I know Nancy, so before it comes back, I'm gonna speak with her as well, just to see if she wants to come and speak and say anything to it, but.
If you look at the back of the petition also, it does show you the area of which the new building is gonna go, which gives you a better idea of what that's gonna entail. It will also be tied into that existing building which is there, and that building will be converted to uses which are also related to this arena.
Like I said, go ahead, Councilman Brennan.
Phil, what plans does Indiana Westland have for the current arena?
Well, Mr. Rowley's here. He can come up and tell you better than I can. I don't know that answer, Mr. Brunner. This is Don Rowley, who works for Indiana Wesleyan University.
Welcome.
Yeah, so Lucky Arena will be transformed into just volleyball, and the hope is to build a men's volleyball program as well as a JV basketball men's and women's programs, or club men's and women's. We want to expand our offerings to the student body.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brenner. And like I said, once we're through questions, we want to go to the traffic commission so they can work with the police department, fire department, just make sure public safety's on board, make sure all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted before we just permanently shut down part of the street. So what we'll do is, after this, take a vote to table it and then send it off to traffic commission. But any other council members with questions right now? Because this will come back again to a first hearing. Councilwoman Devine.
So is this just John Street or is it also 41st? Because in the initial reading, it included both.
Yeah, it's 41st Street from Nebraska over to Felton. And again, Indiana Westland owns all of that property on both sides of 41st Street.
So will those houses no longer be there, or?
Well, part of them are gonna come down now, obviously, because of building the arena. I don't know that there's any plans to necessarily take down all the rest.
I can speak to that.
Is it university housing or?
Yeah. Currently, the university owns all the houses except for Mrs. Rosen's. The only house that is scheduled to be raised is the one right on the corner there of 41st and John Street. We're going to attempt to save the rest of those houses on John Street. None of the houses on 41st Street will be raised. The purpose for closing 41st Street is because of the pedestrian traffic just south of where the arena is going to go. There's going to be a significant amount of pedestrian traffic because of the arena.
So yeah, 41st was, you said Nebraska to Felton, right?
Correct.
So then what's gonna happen to these houses?
Those houses will stay.
So if you're wanting to close 41st Street all the way across, how are they gonna get into these houses?
We want to vacate the street. We're not going to close the access.
So then would it be private access then? Like, I guess kind of explain to me what you want to do then.
I mean, I guess it would be considered private access. We would maintain the roadway. We would maintain the utilities underneath. Yeah.
Okay, the good things for the traffic commission to look at, I guess. I mean, the traffic commission is gonna have to we have a heads up on it. Great. Any other council members? Okay, thank you so much for coming tonight, Bill. And I'm sure we'll probably see you back in the future at some point. And, yeah, so I would entertain a motion to table this.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I move, did I interrupt someone? Mr. President, I move that we table General Ordinance number 19, 2024.
Second. Motion to table by Councilman Kane, second by Vice President Cowgill. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. General Ordinance 19, 2024 has been tabled, and we'll go to Traffic Commission before it comes back to the council. And moving on to Resolution 12-2024, Marion Police Department Merit System.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of Marion, Indiana, rejecting the establishment of a merit system for the Marion Police Department pursuant to Indiana Code Section 36-8, 3.5, 5.5. Indiana law now requires police and fire departments to adopt a merit system for promotions effective January 1, 2025, unless the city council passes a resolution allowing the respective departments/unions to opt out of the merit system. Speaking city administration.
Welcome, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Mr. President, members of the council. Before we go any further, I want to point out my twin granddaughters are back for their civics training. One is going to be the first female mayor of the city of Marion, and the other one will be the second stand-up lady.
Welcome. I probably should have, yeah.
Very proud. And they're here of their own accord, dude.
We probably should have had them come to our 3.5-hour meeting to get a real.
We'll do the next one.
You got an easy one tonight.
Okay, and I'm happen to be first, but I almost wish the fire department would come first. Chief Gar has led the way on this. His staff have done a wonderful job of making me and my staff informed about this. So he'll probably be more informative up next. But I can tell you that, as the summary suggested, that for some reason the legislature has passed a statute that's in effect right now that requires you and us, the body of the police department and in turn the fire department, to proactively reject something that they're putting upon us that will take effect if we don't do this. If we don't say no, it will happen, which I think is an odd piece of legislative work. I can tell you this, I'll be right up front with you. I'm not in favor of this. I've studied it a little bit. Chief Gar has in great detail. I think it's a solution in search of a problem. I think it creates bureaucracy that's unnecessary. I think it is attempting to fix something that's not broken. We are currently under the authority of the Board of Public Works and Safety. A lot of people think the chief of the fire department, the police department, fire and hire people. We don't do that. Technically, public Board of Public Works does that. I think they've done a fine job. And this is my 13th year as chief and 38th year on the police department, and I've seen the Board of Works in action in terms of things that would be co-opted by this new entity, this bureaucratic entity. They've been efficient. They've dealt with hiring in terms of approving what we suggest most of the time, discipline, promotions, and even termination of employment sometimes in rare occasions. In my personal experience, without taking too much of your time, they've been fair. They've different iterations of the board have listened to the facts and made decisions based on good faith. Sometimes they've gone against whoever the chief may have been in the recommendation. Sometimes they've reduced, in terms of discipline, reduced, and sometimes they've approved what's been recommended, but they've always been fair. I just think that this creates a situation. I could give you a dozen, but I don't want to make the meeting last for a long time, but I'll pick one problem that I see right off the top. We made a concerted effort to streamline the hiring process because we're so critically understaffed that we don't have time to take months and months and months to vet and hire people. We are hiring, we have no waiting list. We have no list that this legislation would have. We're a waiting list, and the chief would pick from 3 people that the board would suggest, and all of this stuff. We've created a situation where we can identify a good candidate, interview, and do all of the things that we have control over. Board interview, by the way, that includes a peer police officer group, a civilian employee, sometimes a citizen, as opposed to a merit board who may or may not be informed about what police work requires. And we can have that interview board together within an hour, as opposed to trying to get 5 citizens on a merit board to pick 5 people to pick a date somewhere in the future where we might be able to get together 2 or 3, 4 weeks, a month, 2 months down the road. We need to move quickly to hire people. That's how desperate we are. This would create a bureaucracy that would make it very difficult to do that. And just layers and layers of that. We can't afford that. I feel like I know my guys. I know what their strengths and weaknesses are. I feel like we've done a good job of identifying talent and pursuing it, bringing it on, bringing that talent on board. And sometimes if we miss the mark, we're not hesitant to say, listen, you can't work here anymore, but we'll help you find another job. When a person isn't cut out to do the job and we miss the mark, we identify that pretty well. And so sometimes the board of works will have to help someone move along. But all told, in summary, I think this is not a good idea. It's not a good fit for us in Marion. Maybe for a larger city, maybe this is what is needed. But for me and my department, my guys, I think it's ill-fitted, and I don't recommend it. So my recommendation to you is to pass this resolution to not implement a merit system. And I'll entertain any questions.
Thank you so much, Chief. Any council members? Vice President Kelly?
I don't have so much of a question, it's just comment is, I agree 100% with Chief Gilbert and Chief Garbo. The merit system is good for Chicago, LA, where they have thousands of officers and firefighters that does that, but this, it would tie his hands, it would tie Chief Gar's hands on the way that they have to do their job. And I'm 100% passing to reject is what we're doing, yeah. But it just would not work here. It would really hurt our system.
Essentially, the way it's written is that if this were to pass, we are allowing them to choose not to have it. So essentially, if we voted to pass this resolution, the way I read the wording of it, it opens up the opportunity for, I think it's the union. I think the union has to vote on it, or is it the department?
It's the body. We're involving our unions. I don't know procedurally. I don't know if the chief would want to. Is a separate piece of legislation here, but it's the same. It's part and parcel. But you're pretty much on board. It's not the labor unions, although we involve our unions out of respect for their role at the police department. But it's the body. And if it involves a union for, say, contract negotiations, I don't get to vote as part of the administration. On this, I would get to vote. I'd have a vote. It's the body, it's the rank and file, and all the sworn members of our department. That's who would vote on it, and they're going to vote on it whether you pass this or not. That's built into the statute, which to me is a red flag. I've never read a statute like this before. There's so many red flags here that I wonder how this was crafted. But our body is going to vote regardless of what you do here today. I've talked to some of my staff, and I feel like they understand that it's probably not a good fit, but I can't speak for them. The vote will speak for itself. But the first step in not doing this is your vote today to pass this resolution. Is it procedurally wrong to have the chief speak, even though it's not his? Okay.
So, I mean, it's exactly the same language. It's just with the police and fire. And so I'm just trying to I mean, I know where I stand on this already, so I already know my vote, but I'm just trying to make sure the procedure that we all understand. So the rest of the council knows if we pass this resolution, then that allows, so then you would vote, each department would vote, and of course, vote up or down, but if we did not pass this resolution, essentially it doesn't matter how you vote, the merit system's in place.
Correct.
Yes,
If,
we are the council is the gateway to allow the departments to choose that yes or no. If we voted down, then it doesn't matter, the merit board goes in place. So I just want to make sure everyone understands that.
correct. So if you vote yes to reject it, then it goes off to the body of both the fire department and the police department. But if you vote no to allow it, then it doesn't matter what we vote or not. So,
And if we vote to reject it, and then say the body votes for it,
yes,
then you still have.
you still have to
right?
get,
So
yes.
we aren't really choosing, we're just basically putting the power into the police and fire department's hands.
Correct.
Yeah, both entities have to vote to not have it. If either one does, then unfortunately they're stuck with it.
Perfect. I just want to make sure that general public understands and the rest of the council, so.
And I don't know if I'm, just to, I guess to clarify a little bit, the merit board will be responsible for not just promotions. It'll be hiring, firing, promotions, demotions, and any type of hiring procedure. All that will be done by the merit board and taken away from the Board of Public Works and Safety. The only thing the Public Works and Safety be available for police and fire is anything monetary. Everything else will be stripped away from them and placed into the merit board's hands. And I echo everything Chief Gilbert said, that this is absolutely something for a larger department and not necessarily for our size departments.
Great, thank you so much, chiefs. Any other council members have questions? Councilman Fordyce.
If both of you could clarify this, because I think that from what I read on the new legislation is that the unions are the ones that push this to become a law.
Well, the word I got is that it was the police FOP that pushed for it strongly. I will say the firefighters contract has always had this clause in it. It's always had it. It's an article. At any given time in the last 25 years I've been on, they could have taken a vote and said we want a merit board, and they have not come close to even wanting to approach that decision. So it's not for us.
Right. So, and are all the firefighters and all the police officers, is there a year, does it take a year before they get probation period before they can join the union? Are all firefighters and all police officers join the union, or do they have the option?
They have the option to join the union within their first year. I'm not sure about the FOP, speaking specifically for the fire department. They have an option to join the union in their first year. The stipulation is that the union cannot represent them in a disciplinary matter.
Right.
Only after their first year and they're certified by the Board of Works, then they're, or I guess for lack of better terms, a full-fledged member of the department, and they can be represented by the union, but not until after their first year.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Fordyce. Any other questions? Councilwoman Devine?
Just one out of curiosity, how, if the merit board were to be voted in, how would that be made up and who would make the decision on who sits on that board?
Well, they've made it as difficult as I think they could possibly have made it. It'll be, if things go that way, as of January 1st, then the mayor will have to appoint 2 members to that 5-person board, but they have to be separate political party members. You have to go back, you have to search their voting history of the last 3 years of their primary votes. And then the fire department gets 2 more votes or 2 more members with the same political party stipulations. And then you all as a council get to pick one, but it doesn't matter what political party they are. And so those 5 members, and that you have 90 days to do that. I believe it's 90 days. And then after that, they have an additional 30 to 90 days to gather up all their rules and regulations that they're going to have. And so in the meantime, if I had a promotion or a spot to hire, I can't do anything until they've gotten their things situated.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we're all, so a yes vote is a no
Rejecting it.
vote for the mayor.
Yes.
Just make sure we all understand.
Yes to reject.
Sounds like a good slogan.
I made it up myself just now.
So if you want to allow the departments to vote, then you vote this as a yes. If you want the departments to absolutely have a merit board, then it would be a no vote.
Correct.
Okay. Make sure everybody is clear. Any other questions? Thank you so much. Chiefs.
Other questions? I would entertain a motion. Mr. President, I move that we pass resolution number 12, 2024. Motion from Councilman Kane to pass resolution 12-2024, second by Vice President Cowgill. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, resolution 12-2024 has passed. Moving on to resolution 13-2024, Marion Fire Department Merit System. This is exactly like the last resolution for the fire department. Go ahead.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of Marion, Indiana, rejecting the establishment of a merit system for the Marion Fire Department pursuant to Indiana Code Section 36-8-3.5-5.5. Indiana law now requires police and fire departments to adopt a merit system for promotions effective January 1, 2025, unless the City Council passes a resolution allowing the respective departments/unions to opt out of the merit system.
If you would like to speak again, go ahead, but if not, I think we've asked all the questions. Any council members have any other questions? Great. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we pass resolution number 13, 2024.
Second. Motion by Councilman Kane to pass resolution 13-2024, second by Councilman Brunner. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, resolution 13-2024 is passed. And one last thing, so pursuant to the council rules, anything we ever would want to add to the agenda that wasn't already included would have to be brought up at the end of the meeting. And so every council member has a copy of the minutes of executive session. We did hold an executive session. It was September 17th, 2024, 6 p.m. in the council chambers. We did not get a chance to get it on the agenda. We were still needing one more name of somebody that was present that we were able to finally get, but it was after we had put the agenda together. And just for transparency for the public, I'm just going to read through it real quick since it wasn't part of the original packet. It just says the Common Council for the City of Marion met in executive session on September 17, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers, City Hall, pursuant to IC 514-1.5-6.1B2, 4, to discuss a commercial real estate prospect. Members present: Nick McKinley, David King, Gary Fordyce, Jim Brunner, Brian Cagle, Andy Witten, Erica Devine, Mike Klein. Members absent: Eric Marshall. Others present: Zeke Turner, Devin McSurley, Mayor Ronald Morrell Jr., Chief of Staff Robin Faust, Chris Griesel, Andrew Mauser, Martin A. Harker. Pursuant to IC 514-1.5-6.1D, the Common Council for the City of Marion certifies that no subject matter is discussed in the executive session other than the subject matter specified in the public notice. The meeting was adjourned at 6:40 p.m. I just wanted to read that for transparency, since it was not on, and I
would request that we take a vote or get a motion to add this to the agenda. And then another motion, hopefully after that, to pass the minutes. So I would entertain a motion to add this to the agenda currently.
Mr. President, I move that we add to the agenda minutes of our executive session.
Second. Motion by Councilman Kane, second by Vice President Calgill. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
I don't know, should I vote on this or not? Since I was absent.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, so it's been added to the agenda. Now I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I so move.
Motion by Councilman Kane, second by Vice President Calgill. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Abstain.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, minutes have been passed. I really appreciate you guys entertaining that. Two last final announcements. One's on the agenda. The final citywide cleanup is October 5th. That is this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Check social media. You'll find out where it's located. And lastly, I've been waiting to make this announcement for, I don't know, 8 months now, but our video streaming is finally getting installed next week in the council chambers. Hopefully this is the last week I have to stream through the iPad. Our contractor will be in a couple days next week to get the new system installed. And hopefully the next council meeting will be totally set up and ready to go. But I'm just excited, and it's been a long journey, 7-8 months to get this thing installed. So that's the only announcements I have. Any other council members with other announcements?
Oh, sure.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Calgill, second by Councilman Kane. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Marshall,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
See you in a couple days.